click out here and you'll notice it'll turn to black. Now these, we don't need to necessarily do that yet, because what we're going to do is actually draw over the top of it our object shape. This one, however, we could change that probably now, but let's wait until after we get the front view taken care of. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this example to draw out this object into that location. So it's a 1/4 inch up, 3/4 tall here, another 1/4 inch here, 1 inch, and so we've got kind of this is the shape that we're going to do. What I want to do is, because I know exactly where that location of the upper right corner is, I'm going to start here, because these two, or the other 3 corners, in reference to my box down here, are not actually part of the object. They're eliminated. So I want to start up in this upper right, upper right, and kind of work my way around the box this way. So I might just actually drag this down a little bit so we can see it in the same view, and then I'll delete it later. So this box, what I can do is I can draw lines that are exactly 2 inches going this way, going down, and basically trace around that, and then eventually get rid of the green lines. So what I want to do down here is verify that I am in the object lines, which I wasn't. I was in the dimension, so I'm going to click on that. I'm on the object line, click out of it, so now when I begin to draw, everything will be placed on the appropriate layer. So go over to or up to the command prompt. This is also a line command, but for the sake of just typing it in, type in line, and now we want to have our end snap on, which is these buttons down here. So we want to start here. Now you can go either direction. You can go counterclockwise this direction or clockwise this way. It's not going to matter, because you can follow along your dimensions that you've drawn out with your from your paper drawings. Okay, so what ortho does, and this might be helpful for you, is ortho down here at the bottom. What this does is it will make the lines snap to every 90 degrees. So what I'd like you to do is have object or ortho on, and I'd like you to have snap off. What snap does is it's going to snap to every 1/4 inch location. So because of the location of the paper, it's not going to, or the location of this box on the paper, it's not in reference to the grid, won't actually make any sense. So we're going to take that off, and we're going to manually type in the dimensions. So at this point it says end of line. So we want to go, like I said, it doesn't matter which direction. I know this dimension is 2, so I'm going to type in 2, enter, and now again it restricts the length of the line, and now we just have to give it a direction. And then I'm going to left click to the left over this direction, and now I have a line there. Now what happens is, since there are 2 lines, you'll notice that if I pick on this right here, I get this menu deciding which one do I want to use, or which one's important. I'm actually going to select this, they call it a curve, but the green line, and I'm going to delete it because I don't need it anymore, and it's just going to make things a little bit more confusing. So now from this point I'm going to go down a 1/4 inch, so I can repeat my last command, which was line. I can begin here, type in a 1/4 inch, 1/4 or 0.25, enter, give it the direction, which is down, right click to begin again, go out. Now I have intersection on, so what that does, or parallel, perpendicular, I'm sorry, what that does is you can see I get the perp there, what that's perpendicular to that line that's coming out here. So I can left click, right click again, begin my line again, and I'm going to come down 3/4. You can probably start to get the hang of this. This is good practice for just kind of right clicking and left clicking. Give it the direction. Now again, I've got 2 lines overlapping. I'm going to get rid of the green line by just selecting it and deleting it. Continue along. This one goes 1. Obviously your object is probably different. We'll cross 1 inch. and that goes up a half, back to here. I can delete these and finish out my line here. Okay, so now I've got this. My object should be correct. However, if I look at this measurement, am I correct on that? Let's verify that I've done it correctly. That's 1 3/8. So now something's not wrong with or right with my measurements. It's probably this here. This here is not the right measurement. I just assumed that it went all the way down, which it actually doesn't. So what I need to do is do some adjustments here. Now you could have probably taken care of this prior to it, but just as an example, if you do mess up, there are ways to solve your problem. Okay, we know that this is my incorrect drawing is 1 3/8. I was supposed to only have it 1 1/4. So the difference is 1/8 of an inch. This part, this line right here, is too long. This is correct. This is correct. This is too long. So what I want to do is I'm going to select this line, this line, this line, all the way around, the ones that are basically the ones that are in the wrong location, and I'm going to move them. Move. Move functions just like the copy command. Select object to move, which I've done. Point to move from, this is a random location. I'm going to move it directly down 1/8 of an inch. Enter. It doesn't automatically update your dimensions, so we'll go back and actually enter in a new one later on. So this point right here and this point need to be trimmed. So I'm going to type in trim, enter, select this point as my cutting objects, enter, and then select those little extensions to correct it. Now that makes this line on the side view incorrect. This is now correct. What I can do is slide this one down by just moving 1/8 there, trim. Okay, now that is correct. It's lined up properly. I can change this. I want to select all of those. I want to make sure that they're on the correct layer. So we want to go into the rainbow circle for the object properties. Those are on guidelines. We want to change that to object. So that is correct. I'm going to get rid of this because we don't need it at this point. I'm going to delete it. But we need to add in a couple of lines here. What I'm going to do, just for quick and easy, instead of having to actually type in measurements, this is my line command, so you can either type that in or select it. I'm going to snap to that, drag it across, snap to this, drag it across. Those are good references, and then I'm going to trim those. So now I have everything's cleaned up. However, if I'm looking at this direction, this line is supposed to be a hidden line. So what we want to do is take that. We've already set up the layer for hidden lines. I'm going to take that, change it to hidden lines, and now it's changed it to the appropriate layer. We have a completed drawing.